Samsung, proud sponsor of TechBusters.
We've been doing reviews, but we're going to do them a little bit differently this week because we're taking a look back. 30 years ago, Steve Jobs unveiled the first Macintosh, the first Apple Macintosh, to the world to great acclaim and excitement. And this computer fundamentally changed the way people use home computers. And we're going to take a look back at its progress. I mean, sitting right here next to me is one of the original Apple Macintoshes. And as the camera zooms in, you can see Aki and I surrounded by a whole bunch of firsts. So this is what the Macintosh originally looked like. Really fascinating light in one box, tiny little monitor, monochrome black and white, and yet it was a total game changer. For something that originally didn't have a hard drive, it was a machine that completely changed the way we see personal computing. Really simple, really elegant, very basic connections. And this was the machine that Steve Jobs truly made his name on. And when he returned in 1998, the machine sitting next to you was the one signified the rebirth of cool at Apple.
But isn't it amazing, Toby, that machine that you introduced, the first version of it had 128 kilobytes of memory. I mean, it was like tiny. It was very, very slow. And then they bumped it up to 512 afterwards. But the actual team 30 years ago actually envisioned this machine costing something in the region of $1,000. And then they realized, well, hang on a second, the parts, they were using Motorola parts, and then that price went up to $1,495. And then Steve Jobs left a year later, and then he came back with these guys. But when John Scully was around, he bumped up the price to $2,500. And the team actually got together 30 years in Cupertino just over the weekend. And one of them was saying that, you know, they kind of regret that they pushed the price up so high because they pushed a lot of kids out of only that first personal computer.
But what a journey, first computer, technically.
Really?
I remember when these first came out in 1998, my colleague Belinda Beresford bought one of these for herself at home, and it was, you know, there were scandals in the press because it didn't have a built-in modem, and it didn't have a built-in stiffy drive. That was a big scandal, you know. And it was still a CRT monitor, but the fact that it was all in one and so beautiful. I mean, just turn it sideways.
Oh, it's magnificent.
Because that's part of the appeal. That
the styling is just magnificent.
So gloriously irreverent and independent. And then a couple of years later at Aki's feet, the second generation of this all-in-one iMac came out, and that's what it looked like. I mean, if you can see now the back of the very first iMac with a CRT, really glorious, very different colors. And we've got a caller from Durban. Hello.
It's Layla. Hello, Layla.
Hello, Layla.
Hi, guys. I just want to know, would you buy a Mac or a PC?
Would we buy a Mac or
Is that a trick question? Aki and I both use MacBooks.
Well, you know what, Layla? The truth is that you know there's usage for both of these you know, platforms, and you know the Mac, as Toby was saying, has become an iconic brand. A lot of the enterprise organizations, some of the software doesn't run on all Macs, obviously, so it all depends what you're going to be using your machine for. Having said that, you know, I mean, we're a big fan of Windows 8 as well, and the new generation of Windows 8 notebooks has caught up with the styling and the battery life of the Apples. So it's a tough one. We both use MacBooks. We use a whole range of devices.
It comes down to what is it that you're going to do with it. And if you use Windows-specific software, then choosing the Windows machine is obviously the right thing to do. But if you're in the creative industry or you want a very light, very compact, very sexy computer, a MacBook Air, frankly, is the best ultra-portable.
I mean, I checked out the Lenovo X1 Carbon at CES, for example, and that's a magnificent device as well. So it all depends what you want to use it for.
Anyway, we're running out of time. But before we go, the machine that we actually brought into review was this, which is the new iMac. And what's so glorious about it is just how thin the edges are, and yet how big the rest of the machine is. And you can see how swivel the rest of the machine is there. We didn't quite get to run through it, but we will at some other point. It is a really fantastic machine. And that's it for tonight's show. Remember our competition, tweet us your answers, and you could win that Samsung Virus Doctor. The question is, who is the world's largest smartphone manufacturer?
So we'd love to hear your comments, right? And you can email us. We're at techbusters@abn360.com. You can tweet us at techbustersSA. Give us your suggestions. Tell us what apps you're using, how you're using technology. I'm at Aki Anastasiou on Twitter. He's at ShapShack. And that's it from us tonight. It's really great to have us with you. And we hope you enjoyed this nostalgic look at the Apple computer 30 years ago. Good night from the team. See you next week.
Good night.